Hi everyone, today's video is about a movie called Sara's and what struck my chord in that movie. Let's get started. I love watching movies of any origin and any genre except horror. However, I watch films from the land of God's own state Kerala with a great reluctance. Yes, you heard me right. And yes, I agree to the fact that I might be missing many masterpieces in this way. The reason for this reluctance is purely because of the disconnect between myself and the film's nativity. However, a part of me who love to watch the celluloid dramas sometimes make me put lot of efforts to watch few of them when my fellow movie buffs advise me to do so. This way, I entirely do not miss all the fun. So, recently, one of my friend advised me to watch this film called Saras. Now, as I said, I started this movie with great reluctance, and moreover, I also checked and read about the initial takeoff in the plot to make myself prepared of what I am going to watch. Saw the runtime, and it was exactly how much I wanted it to be, just 2 hours. So, I'm all prepared. I also thought that I might get dozed off while watching. To my surprise, one metaphor that comes in the initial few minutes of the movie made me to get glued to the play. Not only that, it also made me to watch the entire movie and also thought of talking about my perspective on it. Hence this video. This movie shows brilliant performance by Annabelle, just like in her previous attempts like Helen. But this video is not about her performance. She anyways is nailing at her job. The film is all about a woman who wants to focus on her goals and strictly knows that she does not have a knack of handling kids, so she decides to not give birth to kids. For once, this stand of the female protagonist seems not to be a unique point in the genre of Indian films. However, what amazed me is the direction and the writing in the scene where Sara confronts and conveys her stand to not have kids with her teenage boyfriend, where he talks about his dreams of having kids. Immediately, we see her boyfriend leaving. The same stand was conveyed to the audience through a line that says her boyfriend doesn't want to eat egg puffs that doesn't have an egg. The very moment the shot shows a fallen egg, and immediately her boyfriend goes out of the frame and leaves the scene. What more do you expect? Just in a runtime of few seconds, we see the main plot conveyed by the director, and that too with a great metaphor. Isn't it amazing? So, are women not acceptable in the society without an egg? The very moment I saw this writing magic on screen, I convinced myself to watch the entire film come what may. Next thing which made me feel the director wanted to have the movie with fast pace is the way we see both the protagonists of the film getting drawn to each other in just one scene when both of them get disappointed and utter the same words at the same time, oh shit, when Jeevan's sister asks them to manage her kids. Immediately, Jem cuts to the scene where their bond starts. However, this fast pace of screenplay might impact the chemistry portrayal between the lead actors, but the director is aware of the fact that he's not making this movie to show a love story but rather to convey Sara's stand to the society. I do want to talk about the next best thing in the movie, which is the climax. Again, this is a major spoiler, so alerting you. Before I talk about the uniqueness in the climax, let me tell you that we have seen many movies which starts with a note conveying that women have their own ambitions and goals, but just to not deviate from the Indian formula of happy ending, we see the characters end up giving up their goals at one point of the story, and they eventually accept the family norms and take up the responsibility of the offspring. So we see lot of such movies as they get accepted by wider audience. And again, this is not wrong, but the narrator of this particular script feels that at the end of the day, it should be woman who needs to confirm and say that she is ready to take that responsibility. So, this was said in a more convincing manner in Sara's by just 3 scenes. First scene is where Sara's medico does the counseling for Sara. Next, it's a conversational scene between Sara and her father over a phone before the climax. And the last but not the least, when we see Jeevan waiting on the chairs outside the theatre to know the review of Sara's first movie. This is really path-breaking climax, I would say. Because if you go few days back, in the movies of similar kind of storylines, we're familiar in watching the male protagonist waiting outside the operation theatre for Sara's delivery, showing that Sara has accepted the norm and gave up on her stand. maybe by convincing herself and changing her priorities. And entire family happily enjoys the sacrifice. But Sarah's is different. We see the same happiness in the family around her in taking this unique stand. So, do you think it can be more path breaking, and also do you think it could be more convincing? This was handled very uniquely, showing two extremes of happiness by making it a point that it's okay if a few women get happiness in achieving their goals more than giving birth. Again, we also see the movie not conveying a point that women who choose to give birth are trivial. This was so evident in the movie in the form of other female characters who are still happy by giving birth to kids. This was also explained in the counseling scene of the doctor with Sara and Jeevan. Hence, the point of the movie is not to make a judgment that women should decide to prevent pregnancy to achieve in their ambitions, but it is to educate that society should stop considering stereotypical thoughts and inform that women's pregnancy decision is entirely hers rather than anyone else, even including the family around her.